Hey guys, it's Steve Porter, and in the back we have
Oh, I have to switch the buttons. Ryno. That's who I am. I'm Ryno.
and we're here to talk about 5 attractions that if we went back to working, we both were former cast members at Walt Disney World, so if we went back to working there, what 5 attractions we would want to work on if we could go back in time and do it all over again,
And
essentially.
I'm assuming we're dead
What?
because that's the only way I'd go back there again. Over my dead body.
but,
Boom. Just kidding. JK, LOL.
And so this is technically not a best and worst, but we're just doing kind of just to get us over to the next week because we're just...
Which is something fun.
Yeah.
It's just a fun little conversation we were having. We thought it'd be fun to record it and share that with everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
So where did you work when you worked at Disney, Steve?
So I worked in Tomorrowland attractions at the Buzz Complex, which I've recently found out is no longer the same thing. So when I worked there, it was Monsters Laugh Floor, Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, and the Carousel Progress. Mm-hmm. But they've just changed it, so now it is... Since Stitch closed, now they do Stitch and Buzz side are now kind of like one, and you can either be in the shows part of Tomorrowland attractions or the attractions part of Tomorrowland attractions.
So shows being Carousel Progress,
Carousel
Stitch.
Progress, and Monsters Laugh Floor. And
okay.
And you just rotate between those two. Well, and then if Stitch is open, because technically it's still seasonal attraction. So if that is open, then you're also part of Stitch. But anyways, so yeah, I did that. It was awesome. I loved my college program.
How long did you work there?
8 months.
Okay. So I worked at Hollywood Studios. When I started working there, it was actually called Disney's MGM Studios.
Oh.
Or, I'm sorry, not Disney's. It was Disney MGM Studios. It was the last year. I had worked there for like 2 months before they changed the name. But they did give me a cool little painting thing of them like creating the new name that I've got in my closet somewhere. I worked in the Backlands, as it was called then, which does no longer exist because everything I've worked at has been leveled for Star Wars and Toy Story area. But the Backlands attractions included, this is not where I worked, but this is what the area included, was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Lights, Motors, Action, Backlot Tour, Toy Story Midway Mania, and I believe that was it. So I worked at Lights, Motors, Action from 2007.
Is Muppets part of it?
No, that's part of Icon. So I worked Lights, Motors, Action. I started at 2007, and the end of 2007, I worked there, just there, until 2009 when I was a trainer, and they brought me over to the Backlot Tour and trained me there at the water tank. I didn't drive the shuttles, just did the water tank part. Oh. Driving the shuttle always seems scary to me because if you even make one mistake, you get a 2-point reprimand, and all it takes is 3 points to get like... termination.
Well, that's why I was glad when I first started my college program and I found out I was doing Tomorrowland attractions. I was like, oh, I want to work Space Mountain. Mm-hmm. So that'll play into like what some of the stuff that I talk about. But it turns out that working an attraction like that can easily, like you said, it has easy like termination things if you do like the smallest little thing wrong.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of, since the Backlot Tour was so old, I mean, it was part of the park open, so it had a lot of very questionable safety. Disney's all about safety procedures, but it was also prone to being like, well, it's okay until somebody gets hurt situation.
Yeah.
So, it still had that old school, like there was no railings to walk you out onto the actual show, which is a water tank show. It takes place in a water tank that's like 10 feet deep, and it's got all these firing effects, these water cannons and stuff like that, and bullet hits and everything. And you're like, oh my gosh, if somebody falls into this, they're gonna get like impaled. And there's also an area near the boat where if you stepped backwards and you fell, you'd crack your head open on the side of the water tank. So there was a lot of things that always made me very nervous about walking people out there. But thank God nobody ever really had an accident. We had 1 or 2 people like jump in and stuff like that, but it all worked out. It was all good. I actually got Safety Advocate of the month, more than once. But I really did enjoy working at Water Tank. Backlot Tour was a little more like, I'm sorry, not Backlot Tour. Lights, Motors, Action was a little more meh. Because it was just kind of like you're just seating people in a stadium. And honestly, if you want to see the worst type of people in the world, just look around you when next time you're getting sat in a big stadium seating and watch how people treat the cast members that are there, because it's not great.
I think
I had some great magical moments that did stayed with me there, so it wasn't all bad. It just, you see a lot of bad parts of humanity there.
I've written about it like in articles before, is that like a lot of guests don't understand this, is that a lot of guests can be great, but it only can take one or two bad interactions for like the whole day.
Because the bad ones are like
really
real
bad.
bad
Like,
sometimes.
up
Like
in your
people, yeah, where you're like, they're unloading whatever they're. I don't know. They're like, well, they're on vacation. It's an unload of the real life. I'm like, it's still not fair. It's not fair to treat another human being like that. So I think it should be a requirement. Like everyone should have to work in retail or at a theme park at some point in their life. It'll really open your eyes to compassion and being nicer to your fellow human being.
Yeah.
But with that said, what's one?
All right, so I'll start.
So what are we doing? 5, you said?
Starting off with number 5.
Okay, what's your first one?
I have the Jungle Cruise.
Always a favorite, yeah.
Yeah, it just because working, I don't know, it can just be monotonous sometimes, like being a cast member. And like this, you at least get to tell some jokes. And yeah, you're telling like the same jokes, but I'm sure like, you know, the more fun that you're willing to have with that job, the better a job it is.
Well, it's also one of those like it's got a legacy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like when you end up at an attraction like that, you get a piece of that, you know, a pride. It's got pride
history,
in it.
Yeah.
And
well, and that plays into a lot of what I went through. Is like, you know, the history of Disney and appreciation for history. And so that was definitely on my number 5. Do you have a number 5?
Mine are in no particular order. Since I was told it had to be attractions and not like Disney based jobs, because I originally auditioned to be character stuff, and like I auditioned at a really slow time, right when the recession like hit its peak, and they weren't hiring very many people. But the casting lady was very nice with me, and I made it all the way through all the rounds, and they were like, "Okay, well, you're great. You're average height. You're the most height we have of every person in the company." I was like, "Oh, good," and they were like, "But we really like you. You'd be really good as a Power Ranger or, other characters that I want to say, because Power Rangers are people and other characters aren't people."
Yeah.
But, and I was like, "Oh my God, my dream come true." But then I was too afraid of rejection, so I never went back to try again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. Plus I got fat. So that Power Ranger dream was just a dream. But so if I had to pick another attraction one, I kind of wanted to do like Great Movie Ride, but not be responsible for driving. But then at the same time, like it's a little more automated there, but people can still get hurt if somebody's outside of the cart and stuff like that. Safety is always it makes me nervous, but it seems like people have a lot of pride there, and it seems like fun. Yeah,
because you love movies, and you wouldn't be lying in the beginning when you said, "And I love movies."
Yeah.
Sorry.
I love movies.
Hit it, CB.
So that's one for me. What's your next one?
Next one is Haunted Mansion.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I've always been jealous of I was always jealous of Haunted Mansion cast members, because it's like one of those jobs where if you're having a bad day, like
you had a bad day, you
Hammond don't lie.
Hammond don't lie.
I don't know.
John Hammond don't lie. Sorry.
Sorry. But it's just one of those, if you're having a bad day, no one is really going to know because you're just like in character.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, one for me. Dinosaur.
Oh.
Because I like white pants and time travel.
Oh. What is it?
What is it about the white pants?
We're not gonna make it. I feel like you have people yelling that at you all the time.
Yeah. I just like the smell in there too. It smells like shaving cream or something. I don't know.
Interesting.
If I had to pick a random one,
there you go.
Seems like fun. Although you think about it, the cast members are never like on the actual ride.
I bet but here's the thing: you have this big thing about safety concerns. I bet you there's a bunch of stuff.
Oh, I'm sure there are. Yeah. But anyway, what do you got? What else you got?
Moving on to the next one, number 3. I have this. I don't know if this is cheating, but I have an attraction that I did work on, which is Carousel Progress. I love the Carousel Progress.
So what? You'd want to be like stationed there? Is that how you would want to do it differently?
Yeah. It's not that it's just that it's easy, but it's like it's back to that legacy thing. I loved the legacy of the Carousel Progress.
Yeah.
And it was a job, like a lot of people think that you get to have a lot of fun times with guests as a cast member, but it's not like really true. Like you have so much other stuff going on that like, having magical moments or like, special little things are like few and far between, as for at least it was for me and my other 2 roles that I had, or other 2 attractions that I worked on. Mm-hmm. But with Carousel Progress, it's like dead. It's like no one goes on it really. So you have like that time, and like when people would enter the theater, I was that like cheesy cast member that like as they were sitting down, I'd come on the mic and I'd ask them like trivia about either like Tomorrowland or the Carousel Progress. And so I just had fun with that.
Is the train station count as an attraction?
It does.
Okay, I would love to be a train, like the conductor or something. It's in my blood. I grew up on a railroad, and it was a theme park in Massachusetts, Edaville Railroad, if anyone's familiar with that. My grandfather was the operating manager pretty much until it closed in the mid-'90s, and then it was like, it's open again now, finally. Like, it finally has a new person that's taking control of it or whatever. But so I have a lot of really weird childhood memories, a lot of weird stuff, so it just seems right that I would end up at a train place.
It's funny you said that because the Walt Disney World Railroad is my number 2.
Oh my God.
Yeah, high five.
I didn't put mine in order, but whatever.
Cool. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I also think it would be fun to boop boop.
Plus people love to come up there. I love the idea. I love railroads. I love that there's this backbone of America that's still running through it. I wish there was more of them.
Well,
I wish Florida would
legacy.
get on board with that.
Walt Disney's love of railroads is part of the foundation of the theme parks, really.
And it's just I find the sound of a train very soothing. The chugging and the train track sounds and the stuff, and it I could always hear the train outside of my bedroom window. So it does that warm soft baked cookie feeling that you like, So, well, that was your number 2. So now you've said 3.
1. Can you guess my number 1?
No, what's your number 3? You've only given 3.
No, I did Jungle Cruise. Oh wait, I skipped one.
Yeah, because of that.
No.
So
Jungle Cruise, Haunted Mansion, Carousel Progress, the Railroad. That's 4.
Oh, what did I say then?
The Railroad was your number 3. You haven't given your number 2.
What was my number 4? Oh, Dinosaur, White Pants, Time Travel.
Yeah.
My number 2. I almost worked here. The Safaris. It's not my number 2. The Railroad probably should have been my number 1. The Safari, I almost worked there, but again, the safety stuff, I just think that one's kind of cool. You're driving around, you're seeing the animals all day, you're in this truck, and it's neat. It seems like a nice.
It's another one where you wouldn't have to yes, it'd be a slightly monotonous, but with that it would be you could always be experiencing something different,
right, exactly,
doing stuff that,
you're gonna see the animals in different ways that not everybody gets to see them. You'll see the lions more often, stuff like that.
Right. Or when the giraffes come right up to the cars and everything. So that's a good one. I do agree though. I feel like it would be definitely one where it would take a long time to train to be good at it. Mm-hmm. Because spotting the animals right away.
Well, even the car, the memorization and stuff like that is fun, but the car. Yeah. Driving that, hitting your marks. I think people underestimate, the people there are so good at their job. I think sometimes people underestimate what it takes to actually make sure that each Disney attraction is going off without a hitch. And I give people a lot of credit for that.
Well, yeah, think about it. They're driving that big truck that most people haven't driven a truck that size before they do this. It's loaded with guests, so they have to, try to make it as less bumpy of a ride as they can. And they have to be spotting animals the whole time before most guests do so that they can point them out and be I don't know. So yeah, I agree. That would be tough. But it would be, if you got good at it, it would be fun.
Okay, what's your number 1?
Number 1 is the People Mover.
Oh.
I love the People Mover.
Plus you get a lot of exercise. You get to walk.
Yeah,
because I like the thing that you get to walk on
the whole day. And it's shaded. It's not inside, which would be the only downside to it. That, inside attractions are nice to work on. But yeah, it just has a super rich history, I think, again, in Disney. It's my favorite attraction to ride, so that would be another reason why I like it. And it's not super complicated. The only other downside is now it's starting to break down more and more. So you'd have to deal with evacing guests often and dealing with that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it's not going to be
it's not like a dangerous one.
Yeah, right. It's not like
you're climbing to the top of Everest and pulling people off. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I love the People Mover.
I should have asked. Does it have to be a current attraction?
No, I guess you could do it. Be as creative as possible.
Okay, because I have 2. I have an honorable mention.
Okay, I'll do an honorable. Now that you've opened it up, then I have an honorable mention.
Okay, my honorable mention is the Captain EO show, because I never got tired of that, and I know it's cheesy and corny, but it seems like a really boring place to work in terms of you're rotating to greeter, theater, whatever. Nobody's into it, but I don't know. if I had to pick one, and I wouldn't mind hearing Michael Jackson music all day, you know?
Have some pride in
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to do a Michael Jackson impression.
I can't.
All right, so I get to do an honorable mention?
Yeah, bro.
All right, well, I don't know if this counts, but I've always liked the design and the whole, like, theming, and it kind of goes along with Carousel Progress a little bit, Horizons, and, like...
I don't know anything about that.
That's why it's not fair, because there's probably going to be people in the comments that are like, well, Steve, you don't even know what it's like to go on Horizon.
It doesn't matter. You could have picked Body Wars because it sounded cool.
But I just think it sounds cool, like the theming of it being like in the future, and like the concept art, and like the actual like I've just like watched videos of the ride, and the ride intrigues me.
You're one of those.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a Disney nerd, like some of us should be around here.
All right. All right. Whatever you say. The American Idol experience. I would have liked to have been a judge.
Boo.
But like the nice judge. No, because you get to hear music, and those people who used to sing there, they were talented singers. Like, I mean, they tried to find the best ones in there, and like, I don't know, it was something fun and stupid. I like things that aren't completely scripted and they give you a little more leeway. Like, I don't want to work at a place that's just like, come on in, push the button, lap bar down. Come on in, push the button, lap bar down. Which Haunted Mansion is borderline that. However, the fun part about Haunted Mansion is the costumes and the characters and the
or like
move away from the dead center. You know, that's
room.
fun.
Yeah. Or like also with the Haunted Mansion, you can like for Mickey's Not So Scary, they get to wear all like this.
See, that's
kind of
fun.
The cobwebs and that's fun.
I also thought about Country Bear Jamboree. I know it's really lame too, and it probably is really boring, but they always seem like they're fun costumes, and
but
I like Country Bear.
The thing about like I've always noticed this, and I know it because it's true from when I would work on attractions like Carousel Progress, is that you get to become better friends with the cast members that you work with when you work on easy attractions, because like you have time to joke around.
You can talk across a room too.
Yeah, right. Or like, it's not so hectic that like you're like when I worked on Buzz, like the only thing to worry about when you're working on Buzz is the assignment in front of you, because like if you don't, then you could like be the reason why the ride stops or whatever. So.
I will say on that note as well that the people are going to make the experience more so than even the attraction sometimes, is that the people you meet when you're working there, sometimes they're not great. You know, we'd have rotations at LMA that were just horrible people, and other times it was like I made some friends that I still have today from around the world. You know what I mean? Like when I first was told I was working at Lights Motors Action, I was like, I'm gonna quit. I don't want to do this, and I didn't like it or whatever. But I ended up making friends there. Yeah. You know, great friends and stuff like that. So a lot of that is you meet a lot of really interesting people, and I think you have to be open to that, and you have to be just be an open person while you're there. You know what I mean?
This has kind of become a little bit about just being a cast member. But I do kind of want to expand on that, is that when I did the college program, the people that I like, you know, I had, you know, international college programmers from Hong Kong that I became friends with, and people from all around the world that I never would have experienced or never got to meet if I didn't have the opportunity of being a cast member. So for all the things that can be frustrating about being a cast member, and while Ryno jokes, you know, that, well, he's serious actually, that he'll never go back to being a cast member. You know, there are, it's not like it's all doom and gloom. Like there are the people, especially the people that you meet, are like the best part for sure.
Yeah. Well, you want to wrap it up for us, Steve?
Yeah. So that'll do it for this little mini-sode that we did. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I had fun. I think Ryno had fun too.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I did.
But yeah, so thanks for
Let us know in the comments. I want to know what you guys would work at.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna steal your thunder.
Oh,
no, go ahead. I'm just kidding. I'll give it back to you.
Yeah, so just let us know in the comments what attractions you guys would want to work on, and give us a thumbs up if you liked it. Thanks, guys.